Hey guys, this is Jimmy from Primer is Best, and I'm doing a video. Going to talk about myself for just a moment. My wife says that I am a ring shy, ring like you put on your finger, ring shy, and I guess she's right because I hate wearing any kind of jewelry, rings. I'm going to show you my finger. I had a wedding band on just like this one. Gold wedding band that I wore, since Mrs. PIB and I have been married, which is 29 years. Wore it for years and years, and I was at work one day, and I was using a drill, a hand drill, best I can, hand drill, and it was stupidity on my part. It was my fault, but I had on some gloves and I was drilling into a metal seat frame. A car or truck seat. Anyway, the stamping on the seat was wrong, and I was having to re-drill the holes. I can't remember. Anyway, I was doing that, and you're supposed to take your glove off before you start drilling. Well, I didn't. And I remember I just got done eating a bite of lunch, went back out on the work floor and went back to work, and because I had a glove on this hand, and I was using the drill and pressing down with my right hand, which is now holding the camera, to drill a hole, I was somehow, in just a quarter of a second, my glove got tangled up in the drill bit. Well, by the time the drill had stopped turning, like I said, I had a ring like this on. It dug into my finger. I'm hoping you can see the scar. Anyway, it went all the ring. It finally stopped, and you could see my bone in my finger. So, I kept my glove on. Fortunately, I kept my glove on, and I went to the front office, to try to get some help because blood was just pouring. It was going down the floor, and is a mess. And had a friend or two of mine that they come to my aid, and they got me in the first aid room. But the ring, this gold ring, one just like it. It had been embedded into my finger, into the bone. So, but I can't stand the sight of blood, especially my own. So, as long as I wasn't looking at my finger, I was okay. But the ring was torn. It just broke it and, twisted it around my finger. And it was a mess. I'll just tell you, it was a mess. And I had a friend of mine that was trying to get the ring off, off the bone, out of the meat of my finger. And he was having a hard time getting it off. And he kept telling me, Jimmy, look away, Jimmy. And, there's just blood all in the floor and everything. And, every once in a while, I had my head up against the counter, and they had my hand stationary trying to get that ring off. Well, my friends, there were several people in there trying to help me. And every time, occasionally I would turn around to look at my finger, and when I did, my knees would get weak, and I wound up getting a couple of my friends just to hold me up. I kept my head turned. As long as I wasn't looking at my finger, I was okay. But as soon as I'd look at it, my knees would get weak, and get... Anyway, I made a mess in that first aid room with the blood. Anyway, my friend, and I see him every now and again, not very often, but every now and again, he went and got a pair of needle nose pliers, and he ground them down on a grinder the edge part, so it can get up and under the, so it can, let me show you, get up and under the ring to pull it away from the bone of my finger. I know it sounds complicated and all that, what I'm trying to tell you, but anyway, he got the needle nose narrow enough to go up and under and pull that ring off of my finger. So if you're ever doing something, trying to do a shortcut, especially, it's amazing, you can use equipment like drills, running a press, anything like that, and you can do it every day and get complacent, I guess is the right word, and you can get hurt. Anyway, I should have took my glove off. I knew better, but I didn't. I was wanting to get going, and anyway, what did it get me? A scar for life. Anyway, Mrs. P, I couldn't put a ring on. Of course, I could work at my work, but they didn't let me do any, manual work because my finger was kind of dinged up there. But my wife, Mrs. PIB, got me this rubber ring. I don't know if you've ever had one or worn one. It's pretty neat. I mean, it's supposed to kind of, it's just an old cheap ring, but it's supposed to kind of break away, I guess. But, hopefully it would break. Anyway, I'm still, like I said in the beginning of the video, kind of ring shy. So my wife, my dad and mom have passed away. This was my dad's ring, that he wore, married to my mom. And it just so happened, my dad, like I said, he's passed away. My mom passed away first, and then my dad. And my dad knew he was in trouble, health-wise. And so he gave me this ring, and it fits on my finger, believe it or not. So, and this, Mrs. PIB was showing me, I don't know what come in this, but my dad bought this for my mom. It says gold pendant fine chain, and it says May. That was my mother's birthday in May. So anyway, my wife has talked me into wearing this ring, at least to go to church and stuff. So that's fine. I don't know, but I'm just kind of weird. I've been bitten by a dog a time or two, and I get kind of leery about dogs. Been bitten by cats. Just, I get kind of once bitten, twice shy, I guess. So anyway, if you wear a ring, my point is, if you have a ring like this and you do manual work like I've done all my life, welding and, all kinds of stuff, why, you might want to get one of these and make sure it's got I don't know, I just feel more comfortable if it had a little bit of a split in the top, so if it does get pressure on it somewhere, it might be a little split right in there, I'm not sure. Anyway, it'll pull away from your finger. That's my whole point. And if you're working around machinery or hand tools, don't get used to being around them. I mean, treat them just like you just first time you ever used them. But anyway, this ring belonged to my dad. And you're not going to believe, well, I guess you'll believe it because it's the truth, but my mom and dad got married in 1955, and I was born in 1957. And we lived in Chicago. I want to say this again real quick, just for those that may be new to the channel. All of my folks are from Georgia and northern Alabama. And that's where my mom and dad are from. They grew up together, went to school together and everything. And at a ripe old age of 18, they got married. You know how you are when you're 18, you think you know everything. I know I was that way. But they got married and moved to Chicago because they worked on a farm all their life, and they's going to try a new way of life. They didn't have any land or they were broke. So they went to Chicago, and my dad went to school, and my mom was working 2 jobs. I'm sorry, my dad was working 2 jobs and going to school. let's see, how did that go? Let me start all over. My mom and dad were both working, and my dad was going to school at night. That's what it was, night school. And anyway, that doesn't matter to this story. I'm sorry. My dad, when he was 28 years old, we had a four-door 56 Chevy car. And our apartment that we lived in had been broken into a few times, or at least once. And of course, I think I've told you, or I'll tell you sometime, my bicycle got stolen. I mean, we lived in Chicago, and I mean, anything that's worth a hoot to you is probably worth two hoots to somebody else that gets stolen. So they stole my mom's high school ring, class ring, and stuff like that. Anyway, my mom had a wedding band that she wore, a wedding ring, but my dad, for their anniversary, bought him and her a ring. And my dad was 28 years old. 28 years old at that. And I don't know why I remember this, but my dad, one Saturday morning, asked me, he said, Jimmy, said, you want to go with me? And of course, I said, sure. And and we both got in that 56 four-door Chevy. And my mom stayed home in the apartment. And we hadn't no more left, my dad and I didn't know they was getting a ring or anything. I was just going for the ride because my dad stayed busy and gone all the time, and I was just wanting to spend time with him. But I hadn't no more got in the car with him and got going down the road, and I was wishing I'd stayed with my mom because I was afraid somebody might break in on her, and I was going to try to be there to protect her. But anyway, nothing happened. But my dad went and bought, like I said, my mom and himself a ring. So little did I know, that when my dad passed, I got this ring and it fits my finger. So my wife, I was telling her about it. She said, how do you remember all this stuff? And I said, well, I remember how old my dad was. And, my mom was 27. My dad was 28. And, like I said, they knew each other all their lives. And, but I just remember going because I felt so bad riding in the car and no one there to protect my mom. And I was afraid somebody, come in on her. Not that I could do anything. I was just a little feller. But, I thought I was just being protective. I know that sounds crazy. Anyway, I just think it's amazing that when my dad was 28 and now I am 66 and I have the ring that he got that Saturday morning, a matching set. Of course, the women's band's a little bit wider in this area than a man's is, but I'm going to wear this to church and maybe a few other places, maybe I'll wear it more often and get it more accustomed, maybe get over this ring phobia. That's what my wife calls it. So I don't know. Maybe you find this story interesting. I don't know. But like I said, I'm just doing it just for, I got some grandkids. They might, if I don't tell the story, nobody will ever know. So my wife didn't even know it. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I don't mean to take up any more of your time. I appreciate you watching. You're watching Primate is Best on YouTube. And I'd appreciate if you'd like and subscribe. And let me know what you think. Let me know if you've ever got, I hope not, but if you've ever had your ring tangled up and had to have it cut off or gone to the hospital, whatever. But like I said, the sight of my own blood kind of gets to me. Anyway, hope y'all's having a great day. I'm on Primate is Best Facebook Primate is Best, Instagram Primate is Best. Got a second YouTube channel called Man on a Budget. If you'd like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. I'm also Instagram Man on a Budget 1. Man on a Budget 1. God bless y'all. Thanks for listening to an old man reminisce and some things. I can't remember what I ate yesterday, but I can remember some things just like it happened yesterday. And it's still vividly clear in my mind. Y'all have a blessed day. I hope the Lord's watching over you like he's watching over me and Mrs. PIB. God bless y'all. Catch you in the next one. I'll see y'all later.